for tuning in to the Illuminations Podcast. We love having you here. It is our mission to be a beacon of light on your journey towards conscious and mindful living. In our weekly episode, we bring you inspiring change makers in the field of spirituality, healing, personal growth, and wellness who share their insight and expertise so you can navigate your way to a happier, healthier, and more purposeful life.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Illuminations Podcast. I'm your host, Nia, back with you with another episode with another speaker. So for today, our topic is all about why is sound healing creating waves in the wellness world? And to talk to me about this topic, I have a spectacular human being in front of me right now. His name is Jana Reddy. Jana is a healer, therapist, and life coach. He has a rich experience coming from the corporate world and having run his own industries. Mind sciences have always intrigued him, which started as a self-help tool, later developed into a full-time profession. He has varied experience in energy healing, mind sciences, and life coaching. Jana specializes in sound healing, Reiki, and quantum healing regression, and inner child integration therapy and family constellation. Thank you so much for being with me here today, Mr. Jana. How are you?
I am doing good here. Thank you for welcoming me on the program.
Absolutely.
It's a joy to share some insights about the sound.
100%. And it's such a great topic as well because a lot of people are very intrigued when it comes to sound healing because there are so many different kinds, right? You have the Tibetan bowls, you have different instruments and so on. But let's just start with what exactly is sound healing and how far back does it go?
The sound goes back to the time of creation.
Yeah.
When whatever science that we talk about, either when we talk about the Big Bang Theory or the big one who's created something out of nothing.
Yes.
The first sound was then when there's something happened in the physical world, when something got created. That was the first time there was darkness and then there's the light comes. Before light comes in, so there was a sound. We talk that or we explain it as a primordial sound.
Right.
So that is what we started off. So if you really look at it, our source, our origin comes from the sound.
Wow. And from this, so science now tells us everything is a vibration. Therefore, sound is a vibration. Is that why it's used as a healing modality? Because our very essence, our very nature is that of a sound, which is pure vibration.
Yes. So if you look at it, sound has been used in a therapeutic and a healing format many, many thousands of years ago. If you look at the records in the Egyptian sculptures or the Egyptian pyramids or the Greek information that we have or any part of it, there's the East or the West. So there is a record that sounds have always been a part of the healing, part of being a healing journey. There is to be healing temples everywhere. So that's when, so that science is coming back in the last few years. Maybe we can talk about close to 70, 80 years back, so they started using what is so beautiful about the science. How could we integrate it into the modern medicine?
Yeah.
So sound also can be treated as a sound energy medicine because the sound creates that energy which helps the human body to vibrate in certain frequency to realign them to that original frequency.
Right.
Sound is all about, that vibration, then followed by a frequency, and how your body responds to it, how your body reacts to it, how it realigns the energy to its optimal, the base frequency that we call as.
So it's all, so if I were to get it correct, it's about using the sound of different instruments and aligning that with the vibration, the natural vibration in our body. Therefore, when we align, so we're using the instrument as the base and we are trying to change the vibration of the human body to resonate with that of the bass sound of that instrument.
Yeah, both are there. Like, you have the instrument, then also there are overtones.
Okay.
Overtones is something that you produce through your own body. Like, when you do vocal toning, or when you learn certain sound that comes from your own throat. That we talk about the sacred sounds that we talk about. Om could be one of the sounds that we talk about it. The Om has a certain frequency, and then NASA has already recorded the frequency of the sound emitted from the planet, from the source, the sun, and it's close to the Om sound that comes in as such.
Right.
So that's the reason, so the primordial sound helps you to align your energies. Like every organ in the body operates at certain frequencies.
Right.
So when you use that particular frequency instrument, when you use it, you start aligning that instrument in certain way so that you get back to working at its optimal or the original frequency as such.
So why exactly do things go out of alignment, and why is it so? How can we just get it back so easily?
So now there are we understand from the science that a thought creates an emotion, and an emotion creates a body symptom or a body somatic. So body is taking up all that you are putting in form of a thought and an emotion, and the organ based on the emotion that we have been going through. So each organ goes through as sort of a change. So when you go through the change, so that it's not working at its optimal level. So like there's an experiment like Dr. Emoto has done an experiment which is I'm going to share it. So he did experiment and he took 3 jars, glass jars. He soaked rice and water. He soaked rice and water in 3 different jars. One of the glass jars, and he started sharing gratitude towards that glass jar. The second one, he started saying harsh words to it. The third particular jar was ignored. So after some time, when they started observing it, so the first jar where the gratitude was given to it, a good vibration we talk about, it started emitting a beautiful fragrance, and it started giving out a nice fermentation to it. The one with the harsh words started forming sort of a fungus.
No way. Wow.
And the one which was totally ignored, what happened? It started literally creating so much of emission of foul smell, and it is just ignored. So that's what happens to a body, when you're putting in so many thoughts and emotions which are not conducive for your own well-being. So you are changing the frequency of the body.
Wow.
And this is what exactly happening. The one which is, the one good thing that we happened with one which got fermented and fragrance, like a body, because you're putting good things. Sound healing, exactly what it does. Whatever is the thought and the emotion that you picked up across different time, different situation and emotions, the sound will help you to release all those stagnant, unwanted energies inside your body.
And this is basically bringing you back to homeostasis, essentially.
Come to the original state.
And how long will this usually stay? Let's say after a sound healing session, or when you do sound healing, how long will this effect stay?
See, we are going back to the environment, right? We're going back to the environment. We're being in the same zone of, going back and collecting the same thoughts. Now, the downward spiral, what we were into, we need to change it. The sound medicine or sound healing should become a part of the life.
Wow.
So that should be some sort of a practice, either the session or meditations or learning something or using one of the instruments to tune your body. We also call, sound healing as a body tuners too.
Wow.
So that's what needs to be approached. That's how the sound needs to be looked at in enhancing your overall well-being.
Wow. And how often should one do these sound healing sessions? And what are the physical, emotional, mental benefits that it has?
A sound healing could be done as often as possible, like once in a week or once in 2 weeks, based on how your life is going around. So we have seen benefits working on physical ailments, like could be PCOD, PCOS, could be Crohn's disease, digestive challenges that people go through, physical pains about aches and pains which they don't even have answers for it. And the most significant one is the stress and anxiety level on the emotion, and sleep disorders, which are most of us are going through some sort of a challenge. You see it's being receding down. And even for migraines, either could be oromigraine or could be migraine that are there. So generally in my case, when the people come in, I tell them to learn this science, because something that they can take it forward and use it in a daily life, which is about 15-20 minutes a day. It can recalibrate them on a daily basis, and they can get back to whatever life they're leading.
Got you. And So you have different instruments for sound healing.
Yes.
Are there different types of sound healing or different modalities of sound healing, depending on the culture, regions, and how do they differ? And which one, can you say this is better than that? Or do they all serve a different purpose?
Like, the initial sound that we look at different cultures, the drums were the first one that were there.
The drums.
The drums. The first, when they used to use the animal hide to, stretch it and then start making the sounds. So you could see the cultures across the world, when you talk about either shamans or the rituals in the village, when they finish the harvesting and they're drumming it out, when they're trying to, release that, emotions or celebration of life. So drums are the very primordial thing which are available as such, because they have one side of a sound, because they have one frequency sound that we talk about. So apart from that, you could also see, the air instruments when we talk about flutes or clarinets. Flutes is also a very beautiful way of, understanding the energy of the sound. Then you also have, like didgeridoo is one of them. So you talk about string instruments. We have quite a few string instruments like harps, which can help you to work on your body. So then there could be also the traditional singing bowls that we talk about, the metal ones. So apart from that, we also have the crystals. So we have the alchemy crystals. Nowadays, you've started blending pure crystals. They're melting it out and creating alchemy sounds. So you have tuning forks. Now you have the next generation that's coming into the tuning forks, where you have harmonic tuning forks, then you have planetary tuning forks, and then you also have the gongs, when the sounds of the gongs will help you to change the frequency of it. There are gongs which are both on the planetary, because we also have the planets in the system playing a big role in our life.
Interesting. In what way?
So there is a sound gong, there's the moon gong, I think it's a sun gong, moon gong.
Yeah.
Then there's the earth gong. Then we have Jupiter, then Uranus. So different frequencies have been tapered in the gongs, and then you align the changes within yourself. So the sound healing benefits at different levels.
Can it affect you or impact you in a negative way? So just like how you said, you have certain sound frequencies that are aligned to certain planetary systems and so on. Therefore, changing a particular frequency in your body, can it have a negative impact on you?
The body is ready to receive only what is necessary for us.
What do you mean?
When you talk about a frequency, right?
Yeah.
It's a sound wave. Like, when we are talking right now, there's a sound wave that is traveling.
Yeah.
So when the sound waves are traveling, so the body has got a field. We're talking about a field.
Yeah.
So this field, when it enters into the body, and body contains 78% of water, which we're already aware of it.
Yeah.
So these frequencies, when they travel through, so whatever is the emotional block that is there. So people may say, no, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
But there are certain changes that are happening which they're not even aware of it.
Got you.
So they may say, I'm relaxed. I didn't know what was happening to me. I may feel restless. I'm turning and tossing all the time. You've seen a lot of these kind of experiences.
Yeah.
But something in their system which is releasing, so the body is responding in a certain manner.
Right. Is this why that not many people actually enjoy sound healing? Because a lot of emotions are coming up.
They're releasing it out. There's a lot of catharsis. And sometimes, we have the biggest thing. The Nile River is long enough. That's why we call it as a denial. So we generally deny our inner reality, we deny that.
Yeah, because personally, like I've been to many sound therapy sessions and I've conducted many sound therapy sessions. And what do you have to say about sessions where people cannot focus or people perhaps feel irritated and obviously certain emotions are coming up? So how do you not get discouraged by such sessions, and how do you get such people to come back or try again?
So like, in the typical sound healing session, that's the reason, we use a blend of instruments.
Okay.
So sometimes if you have a monotone, like, listening to one sound of a sound, you may not feel connected to it. So what we are as a sound healer, a sound practitioner, what we do, we bring in a lot of variety of sounds to it. So it could be singing bowls, could be gongs, could be the bells, could be, a different sort of instrument with harps. We could be using a background track, which is to bring them to focus. Because, we're also talking about them going into the theta frequency for them to receive the maximum healing as such. So when they're coming, they're already agitated. They're coming through the traffic, wherever they're traveling to. Sometimes their expectations are also there. I need to get this particular thing. The healing is happening in certain manner, but they don't know exactly which part of their life is getting transformed.
Got you.
So that's the reason, So we try to blend in with different sounds to make it more harmonious, to make it more palatable to a different set of people as such.
So you mentioned earlier about certain instruments being air sounds. So I imagine there are like water sounds, earth sounds, and so on. How do these sounds with particular associated to particular elements, how do they have a significant impact on our body?
Like when we talk about water sounds, when you look at it, it has got a specific frequency.
Yeah.
Okay. So like rain sounds, people like it, or it could be the ocean sounds.
That's when you use a rain stick.
Rain sticks and things like that. So sometimes when you use water, maybe you just create it and a background sound of the water and a river stream that is coming in.
So what usually comes up when you listen to water sounds?
So when they bring the water sound or the rain sound, what happens? They're able to bring focus to within themselves.
Okay.
So it's all about inward journey. See, when we talk about a sound healing session or sound healing meditation or sound healing therapy, so we're trying to bring it to the core of their own existence. So these sounds are helping them to go deeper so that they're within themselves.
Yeah.
And from there, when you start using other instruments, you're basically sending that frequencies to clear the blocks. Like we talk about meridian lines, we are energy lines which are there, which are connected to the chakras, which are basically the glands. And the glands are once again connected to our emotions, our thoughts, our storage of information.
Yeah.
So this is getting cleared at different levels.
Yeah. So what about other elements such as earth? What earth or fire or...
Like if you look at fire, the element that we generally use could be the high frequency drums.
Okay.
So you are able to increase the body temperature. When you're listening to a drumming, you would feel like, tapping. Immediately you see that urge in, doing something better.
Yeah.
So when you use the air sounds, you can see the effect on the heart chakra because then your lungs are functioning according to that. Lungs and the heart.
Okay.
So when you talk about water element, it's working on the sacral.
Wow.
So the singing bowls started working on your earth element, which is the root chakra.
Oh, wow.
So every element is already we are using at different lights.
And
when it comes to light, we already using the candles, or it could be diffuse lighting that's required to bring that overall ambience of the space, so that it's an experience which is beyond the mind, body, and the soul connection.
Wow, that makes so much sense. So how do you go about, let's say, what kind of clients or people is sound healing for, and what kind of ailments and diseases can you help with sound healing?
So there's no limitation on what and where and how you could apply the sound healing methods.
Yeah.
So it could be applied in hospitals, which is now because there is so much of stress that's going around.
Yeah.
It can be a complementary support for any sort of an environment, hospital environment, right? If you look at it in US, the most of the professional nurse, the community, they have started learning the art of sound healing. So they are blending in the sounds, for 20 minutes in a day, so that they can calm the people, because the people who are in the hospital, they're already stressed. There's so much of anxiety that's going around, because based on the kind of condition that kind of ailments. So hospital starts off, children receive the sounds much better. They get able to understand sound better.
Yeah.
But there is no limitation. They can understand sound. Body understands much better. I don't see any limitation, in where sounds can be applied as such, unless until they say they're not connected to this one particular sound, because that we know that somewhere in the system there is an resentment to receive the healing of it.
Got you. So using sound, can you do some form of diagnosis within our like for someone, let's say? Can you do some form of diagnosis? Can you get
what
answers?
we do, Nia, here is we generally take out the chakra reading. Basically, we look at the chakra diagnosis that we start off.
Okay.
When we start off the chakra diagnosis, so we are validating with the person who coming to seek the therapy, looking at what is either any physical ailment, or this could be an emotional or a mental ailment.
Okay.
So sound could be applied on all the three levels. Somebody says, no, I have only a digestive challenge. So we know that what is happening around is on the solar plexus, then it's happening on the the sacral chakra. So we can work on it. So we have a validation going around.
Yeah.
So where the diagnosis and the treatment goes hand in hand.
Got you. So that's how you first identify what exactly is the issue, where in the body and which chakra it's associated
With.
Therefore, so you can then play the instruments around that body. So for a physical ailment, how often should you treat it? On a weekly basis, on a daily basis, or for you to see the results?
The chronic condition that we talk about, like it could be somebody going through diabetes, or could be an issue, challenge, concern to blood pressure, or concerning like migraine, which takes a little longer time for them to maintain the condition. So at least they should start having it at least once in a week, or I always tell them to learn this science. Because something that they could practice it in a few balls, they can start doing it within themselves. So they can do it on a daily basis because there are no contraindication that happen with the sound.
Got you. So it can't create a negative.
Anything bad to you as such.
Got you, because it's all about bringing you back to homeostasis anyway. So what about music? So there are different genres of music. There are different kinds and so on. What is the impact of listening to different types of sounds? For example, rock music, or for example, slow, sad music. So how does it really impact your mood and your thoughts?
So music works on the emotions.
Okay.
So when you talk about when you listen to a launch music, you'd see that you come to certain stage and you're setting your frequency in that. But we not have a healing and a therapeutic approach to that.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between healing sounds and songs that affect your emotions?
Yeah. The healing sounds work at all the level. Like, we have different bodies. We have physical body, we have energy body, we have the mental body, we have the emotional body. When you use healing sounds, you're working on all the 4 levels.
Right.
So when it comes to music, you're calming the mind, enjoying that moment. If you're listening to a hard rock, you're talking about an increase your frequency, you want to tap, you want to dance, you want to do something, or you're trying to let off some steam that is built up inside of you. So there are different ways, there's a difference between listening, hearing, and healing.
Listening, hearing, and healing. Okay.
So when it comes to hearing, we have all the sounds that are there around us. We may capture how much ever we need to capture it.
Yeah.
Listening, it's attentive.
Yeah.
You're trying to tune into one frequency, one sort of an element.
Yeah.
So when it comes to healing, so it is going beyond the eardrums. It is not just only at that. So when you're listening to the music, only the ears are functioning. The healing sounds working on different aspects of your body.
So would you say that whenever we listen to any kind of music or sounds, it should be intentional?
Intentional. And what kind of a music that you're looking at it, what kind of a healing that you're looking at it. This has to be very specifically designed so that starts, helping you to align yourself.
Got you. And how long should you expose yourself to a particular sound or sound healing in a session? How long are these sessions and how long can you do
we
it?
recommend to close to about 60 minutes because you would get a complete tune up to the body. Like that's what we talk about, body tuning.
Okay.
So you start aligning the energy centers around both on the emotional, mental, and also on the physical level.
Got you.
So there are sounds that we use it around the body to align them because we all carry an energy field around us so that we pick up thoughts, emotions, soul fragment which are stuck in different situations. We're trying to integrate them.
Yeah.
And also there are balls which are kept on the body to align the body functions. Basically, you're aligning the glands which are in turn helping you to balance your hormones. So there is a physical benefits also that comes with the sound.
Got you. So in your experience, can you share a few stories or anything where you've seen the direct impact of sound on people?
Yeah, I have a few significant case study that I can share. One is, when I had a 12-year-old child, which used to come with aura migraine. So
Aura?
Migraine, so there is an element that keeps going around and you're completely on the medication most of the time. And she used to have a lot of challenges to focus and concentrate in her studies. Started at 12. So I started, doing sound healing as the only meditation. So we started working on that, keeping the balls around the body, first aligning the energies. I later started, using the balls inverted on the head, gently doing certain sessions for them. So over a period of time, within about 2.5 months, the child started, seeing a significant reduction in the migraine attacks.
Wow.
So that was one significant case study, and then they learned, and finally it's so profound. The child, learned the sound healing for herself, then started, using it in her daily life as such.
Wow. So you can do this to yourself.
Yeah, you can do it to yourself. Certain things you can do it for yourself.
Wow.
That's one case. And I had also had a child which is about 8 years old, which is about a Crohn's disease. Crohn's is something that you have a digestive disorder. You have challenge in eating it out. So I did, I think, close to about 10 to 12 sessions. And then after that, the child used to be so skinny. And then after about 6 months, I had a common meditation program. And then he said, "Uncle, it's me." I said, "Who are you?" Because you're literally grown up to be a chubby boy,
Oh, wow. You couldn't even recognize him.
I didn't recognize him. I said, "It's me," Then I said, "Okay." I finally said, because you do the treatment and then you don't, follow up on any of these things. And suddenly we come back and said, "Okay, how are you feeling?" I said, "I'm good. I'm able to eat better food. I can see the change happening." So these are the validation that happens. It also I've done for varicose veins, where you have challenge, in working on it. So it's a beautiful blend, that people can use it for a different kind of a challenge. Of course, for PCOD, PCOS, quite a few of them are using it. Even with single bowels, they have been able to bring a lot of relief for themselves.
And for such cases, do you do it once a week? Do you do it 2 times a week, 3 times a week?
You can do it twice a week. And build it up, and then you can slowly start tapering down, so the body is slowly aligning themselves as such.
Got you. So is it ever a problem for the body to get used to sound? Therefore, when you stop, then it has a negative.
It doesn't come back. It doesn't. There's nothing, as like I said earlier, there are no contraindication that come back. That okay, now you stopped it.
Yeah.
So when they feel the healing is good, and now the body's functions, because everything is connected to your glands and hormones.
Yeah.
So we are bringing that back to functionality, and then you can continue to do your own maintenance activity.
So this just shows how using the sounds, it has a direct effect on your energy body, right?
Yes.
Therefore, it has an effect on your thoughts, your emotions, and so on. So you are, without the intervention of any form of medication, altering your inner state just with energy medicine, which is just sound. So what are your thoughts when it comes to, now that sound healing is picking up, what does that mean to, or what do you have to say about the pharmaceutical medicines that would get replaced because of such alternative medicines like sound healing or energy medicine, let's say?
So I think, the pharmaceutical medicines will continue to be there for some more time. We can't completely remove it out as such. So, but it could start, supporting the journey of healing.
Yeah.
So the dosages can reduce. The body, can start receiving it better. So the slowly over a period of time, you're tuning the body to be its own medicine.
Wow. And it has the power to do that.
To do that. And the body has a power to heal on its own.
Wow.
Because body can do every function. Like, we have the element of earth, we have the element of water, we have the element of fire, we have the element of air, we have the element of sound. And of course, we have the element of light from the outside world. So what we are doing is bringing all this in an equilibrium, in an harmony.
Wow. And you can initiate that journey or that healing process just through
with the sounds as such. And there is no need for anything, no guided requirements, what you need to do, what you don't need to do.
Yeah.
You just, lie down and receive those frequencies, and then feel something is changing within you. One is sometimes they may get to know about it, but over a period of time they say, okay, something is changing inside of me. The change is nothing but a transformation from the old state to the a state which is much better for them.
Got you. So let's say within these sound healing sessions, do you have to do any form of other reflection work or cognitive work or anything like that?
No, it can be blended, but generally it's not needed.
It's not needed.
You can always do it. You can guide them through certain things. Like somebody comes in through an physical issue as such. You can guide them through so that they can focus more on the particular organ or the body part. So that, the focus is there on that, and they'll be able to, one is the intent, that, what they're trying to do, and the sounds helping them to go to that particular point as such. So it's much more powerful.
Got you. Well, last but not the least, what tips do you have for our listeners when it comes to perhaps starting their self-healing journey with sound or any other techniques?
So when it comes to sound, sound as a part of their life, when you look at it, definitely, they should look at and exploring meditations to begin with, to understand how the sounds work on them, how sound is going to be the science which is there across time. We were talking about records more than 200,000 years. That records are available where sound has been used for healing as such. So let us bring back that element of the energy medicine back into our life. To begin with, they should look and explore about using sound and the light to see how it can benefit them. Can it calm them? Which, of course, we have seen the relaxation levels are much better. Stress and anxiety gets reduced. So these are immediate benefits. So from there, they can look at working on any other concerns that they have.
Got you.
Concerns or challenges that we have, we can go through it and release it.
Got you. So, Mr. Janna, where can people find you and where can they have an experience of sound healing session with you?
So I'm here at Illuminations JLT, Fortune Towers. So they can definitely, we have amazing space here, amazing healers and therapists who are into beautiful sound and other energy work. So of course they can contact the front office here, and then available here for sound experience, for both for meditations and for experiential sessions. And they can look at, explore this beautiful science.
And any last words before we sign off?
One last word is said, is about bringing sound back into a body. When you listen to your own sounds and ultimately bringing that own sound, own frequency, is the best form of healing that you could ever gift for yourself.
And how can you do that?
So overtones, when you come here, when you look at, we teach you to give you certain amount of overtones, and that's when it changes the frequency of your own body as such.
Wow.
So that is the one energy that you should definitely explore, definitely use it. We at Illuminations have a very good facility and amazing instrument that we have kept aside for listeners, for people who are ready to take this beautiful sound and then take it into their part of their life.
Wow. Thank you so much for being with us here today. And we really appreciate all the insight that you've shared with us. And thank you for all the listeners who joined and listened. And we will be back with another speaker, with another topic. Until then, stay safe and live light.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love to have you tune in again next week as we discuss more engaging topics on relationships, health, career, self-care, and spirituality. If you'd like to help support this podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave us a rating and review. We'd be extremely grateful. To catch all the latest from us, you can also follow us on Instagram at Illuminations World or visit the Illuminations World YouTube channel for more inspiring content. See you again next week, and until then, live light.